Welcome to the Puckle Podcast. I'm Thatch, and on today's show, we discuss what Pokemon tropes we think are overrated. Is Victory Road even needed? Do we actually need regional rodents? But before we get into all of that, I just wanted to let you guys know that our 700th episode is coming up. We're going to be holding a live stream of that episode and the recording of it on Saturday, June 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So come by, watch the crew record and chat about some of their favorite things while also being able to chime in live and ask questions of the cast members about podcast or Pokemon or whatever you want to know. If you miss it, don't worry. We'll make sure the episode is live for all of you to watch and listen to at the regular time on June 9th. We hope to see you. And until then, puckle up and get ready for this week's episode.
And now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, Puckle Podcast.
It's Puckle! Puckle! It's Puckle! Puckle! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! Puckle! Puckle.
Welcome to the Puckle Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my wonderful co-host. We've got the one and only fluffiest Whimsicott.
Ciao, everyone.
And we've got Lynian.
Buongiorno.
Ouch. Ouch. I
That
expected
stabbed
better from
right to
you.
the soul. Right from the soul. But welcome to the Puckle Podcast. Puckle, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything Pokemon from the trading card game to, if you can find it, I guess, to the video game and everything in between. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm so bummed. I'm so bummed. I've started playing other card games to fill that void in my life.
How is White Schwartz?
Yeah, I miss when the trading card game was available to play. I mean, it is still available, but like, I don't know. It was a good time being like, oh man, we pulled this card. I should build, like, that card's not like a good card, right? But it's a playable-ish card, and like building decks around what we pulled, right? I really like doing that, and I obviously don't get that experience anymore.
I mean, it's been probably, I don't know, 20 years since that was anything other than like something you could do at your kitchen table, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, well, okay. By what I mean is, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna build, a Pokemon deck from the cards I have. But like, let's say I pulled like from Journey Together, I pulled like Blaziken EX. Blaziken EX, not a great card. Like, it's not like the best, but it's playable. There's a deck that you can build with Zoroark and the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. And it's very fun. It hits a lot of stuff in the meta for weakness. It does some cool stuff. It's janky and fun and cute, and you can play it at League. And I liked being able to pull something like that Blaziken EX and be like, you know what? Let's build that deck. You know, we have the cards. Let's do it. And you know, there's also the thing that I've explained before on the show where I really liked going and like in a couple of sets, there's bound to be like some synergy with like an uncommon or a common out of Journey Together or something like that. And I liked having the bulk, so I don't have to go to my game store to buy a 10-cent card.
Yeah.
When like that becomes, you know, the new hotness for some reason. And so that's kind of what that's what I'm avoiding. That's what I'm trying to not do. But it is impossible to not do anymore.
Yeah, I know. Gone are the days of me going with like literally at 11 p.m. on the 4th of July with that little man.
Yeah, for now at
and
least.
Woody.
For now.
It wasn't even Target. Was it Target?
It was Target.
Myers?
It was Target. It was Target.
I don't remember. And we picked up booster packs of the latest expansion. So gone are those days.
Yeah, I mean, you can go and still pick up like not the latest expansion now. Like nature's starting to heal a little bit. But you can't find the newest expansion. Like, and I used to think that like magic packs being $6 a pack or something was outrageous. When you could buy like a Pokemon pack for $4.50 or whatever, or $4 if you bought it from a local game store. But now they're pricing the Pokemon packs like at the same price, if not more, than the magic packs. And it's insane to me because at least when you open a pack of magic, like every card is like somewhat playable.
No, not even remotely.
Well,
but still,
okay.
But it is better than having played
It's better than
both.
Pokemon.
It is better.
It is better. It's better than just being like, oh, yes, I pulled this Combuskin that does 30 damage for 2 energy. Yeah. And that's all it does.
We do have Journey Together in the stores. I guess like the Italian version sells less on the international market, so it is in the stores. But I did notice the other day I was at a supermarket and they had single booster packs for €6. And I was like, gosh. Since when? Oof. Since when?
Oh, ow. Yeah, no, I saw Journey Together yesterday at my local game store for, I believe it was like $8 or $9 a pack.
That's even more.
Yeah. Wow. No, it's insane. Like that's how much they're doing it. Because if you buy the booster box instead of being, well, MSRP is $160, which I will gladly pay for a booster box. That's fine.
$160. It used to be, oh gosh.
Well, no, it used to be lower, but a few years ago, they did an MSRP rise on the packs when Scarlet and Violet came out. So booster boxes joined that. It used to be like $140 MSRP, I believe. But typically you could get them for less than that because people realized, oh man, this is just a lot of bulk. And so you could buy a booster box for somewhere around like 110 typically. With Scarlet and Violet early on, it was getting pretty bad. Some booster boxes you'd buy for like, I don't know, you'd buy them for like $100 maybe. And game stores were very upset about this because they would actually lose money on those booster boxes because nobody wanted to buy them.
Wow.
And so now we're like flipped, and those same booster boxes that like a year ago I could have bought for $100, I can't buy for less than $200 now.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's just nuts. But I don't want to keep. We talk about this every episode, and I don't want to keep complaining about the TCG.
Yeah, let's complain about a different expensive card game. Oh, Final Fantasy is killing me.
Oh.
We can talk about anything.
Sets, we bought like a box or two. Not two. We've bought a box just to like have a bunch of the bulk because the sets have been cool and play in. And then this one is so much more expensive. It's the best selling Magic set of all time, and it won't come out for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Wow.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, it's been a wonderful time to get into the game. It's fine. The TCG sets are going to be fun. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, guys.
It's fine. My gambling addiction is paying off, I promise. But yes. Okay, but have you guys been doing anything other than complaining about TCGs and
Well, complaining about TCG Pocket.
Okay. That's that's different. I'll accept that. That's different enough.
Okay, I wasn't so much complaining. No, I do have a complaint. Like, I have finally fallen into the dark hole of ranked battles.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Apparently, one of the best strategies in higher tiers is disrupting your opponent's strategy. Which is fair, but it's very frustrating when everyone you face after a certain point has either red card or Mars. And like, I realize that I am playing like the 4 Dummies deck on the 4 Dummies TCG game because I'm playing Sol Galeo.
Yeah.
But still,
I understand.
It is still frustrating when you have a single button to push and they don't let you push that button.
Yeah, it's I understand. I don't know. I was a little worried when they came out the rank ladder because there's no good way to like craft cards. Well, you can craft cards, but it's not
There's no
easy.
Good way.
There's no good way to do it. And that's what frustrates me. Like even if they put in an option to just let me pay money to craft cards, I think I would be happier with it. You know what I mean? I would find that acceptable.
At that point, it becomes like pay to win. And
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I mean,
It kind of already is. It still is.
It is less so. Slightly less so.
No, it's more so because they have to do it via brute forcing large bulks of cards instead of targeted amounts. It would just lower that barrier.
Yeah, it would lower the barrier.
It lowers the barrier, but it makes it for certain that people who pay get the best decks faster than other people.
It's already that.
More for it.
I don't know if it's certain. It's very likely.
They
certainly have access to more
It is certainly
cards.
happening. It is certainly happening.
Fair enough. I'm being very technical about this.
It is. I guarantee you there are tens, if not hundreds of people, probably more, that are paying to get the decks that they want.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Like, do you see how much money that game pulls in?
Yes. It's a mobile game. There are whales.
Yes.
It was after the Muse set, but before anything else came out on that app, where someone posted a picture of what the message was when you got 10,000 cards, and someone asked them, "Are you okay?" And their response was no.
Yeah, they're not. I have religiously opened my 2 free packs every day since the game came out, and I have like 3,000 cards. Like, what the heck? By the way, Lynian, did you pull the I don't know if it's a full art or the miniature card?
I have not played that game since the Celebi set.
Oh,
and I don't particularly want to pick it back up.
I am terrified of doing it.
But look up the art for the miniature card.
See,
it's
yes,
so cute.
I will do that. For me, I've been 100%ing a ROM hack, which doesn't sound too unusual for me.
No,
the ROM hack is called Super Mario Mon.
Oh.
I believe. No, this is fine.
It's 151 Mario enemies.
Can
with
you catch Yoshi?
World plot. Yeah, you can.
Perfect.
And Yoshi is the Eevee equivalent, and so it can be red, blue.
It can evolve into different Yoshi. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you get it to level 50, it becomes Yube from Partners in Time. If you don't evolve it with a shell, it has a fully original plot and world, and the writing is bizarrely really good. It feels like a classic Mario and Luigi game.
Pokemon, or people who make Pokemon ROM hacks are some of the greatest unpaid game designers.
Well, that's the thing.
that like ever existed.
Were paid.
Oh, they were paid.
So.
Oh, that's not good.
No,
okay,
it's fine because they weren't paid by their project. They were paid by a bored YouTuber who wanted this to exist.
Okay,
so
that's not
hired
terrible.
Several people for 3 years to develop it.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. There's doomed Yowie, and I won't tell you who it's part of, so Whimsicott plays it.
None of the words that just came out of your mouth make any sense to me because I have never played a single Mario game.
Those aren't Mario words.
What words are they then?
Never mind.
Maybe I didn't hear you right,
really
but
fun.
I don't know.
It's been really fun to go through it all, and there's a fully working battle factory and battle pyramid in post game.
Wow,
they did a lot. Between that and Expedition 33, I've been playing a lot of RPGs. Sorry, Shamu, he didn't like that. I loved it.
All right. Well, with that, guys, I think it's time we kick it on over to our news. So we've got some to talk about. So let's jump on over to that. Welcome to the news. In the news, there are a few things to talk about. First and foremost, for those of you playing Pokemon Unite, All Creamy comes out on June 12th. And it does look like it like goes on top of a cake, but not like G-Max All Creamy cake, just cake. And it's fine. It's like, who doesn't like cake, you know? Cake is cool, I guess. So, but yeah, it looks like it's probably a support character because it heals your allies. I don't know. I haven't been playing Unite. I can't tell you guys what's going on. Be the masters of your own destiny and pick up All Creamy on June 12th if you care. All right. Also in TCG Pocket, speaking of the devil, we've got a new set, a new themed booster pack, Extra Dimensional Crisis, releasing on Thursday, May 29th. So that's this week. And
they're coming out way too fast.
Yeah, they're doing this on purpose. Yeah, yes. Yes. This is like most TCGs, all of the sets are coming out too fast, but you also get Ultra Beast, including Nihilego, Buzzwole EX, Blacephalon EX. They're all here. Actually, I really like that art on the Blacephalon card. I'm actually really upset with some of like the TCG Pocket exclusive art. Like I want some of that in real life.
Some of them are like the last set.
Yeah, like they're just bangers.
Amazing.
These are just bangers.
I really like that. Oh yeah, no, that. Wait, no. That Blacephalon art is great.
That Blacephalon art is fantastic.
It's beautiful. It also has the proper amount of creepy for a
for Blacephalon.
Yeah.
This is perfect. Like this art is fantastic.
This is great.
That's great art. It's not on a real card, but it's great art. That's the problem. I want it to be on a real card.
Oh, the mini art is great.
Did I tell you or not?
The art is
super cool.
The art is just really good.
For weeks.
I am waiting for there's going to be an inevitable collaboration between the actual TCG and TCG Pocket. I guarantee it. I don't know when that will be, but it will happen.
They did it with Pokemon Go. It'll happen.
Yes, they did it with Pokemon Go. That's exactly my point. Like I think what might even happen is they might take like, because TCG Pocket is a little bit more balanced in a way, because this is essentially like the Pokemon Duel Links for Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent of Duel Links, where it's like a faster game. I could see a world where they make like physical TCG Pocket like cards with the plus 20 damage instead of the ×2 damage for weakness. And it's very possible. We'll just have to wait. It will happen though. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. If not, we'll at least get the stuff with the art on it. And it'll be interesting and fun. Yep. Because art cards are Pokemon figured out art cards. Just saying. they figured it out. Like good for them. All right. Well, we'll get off the TCG Pocket horse and we're gonna move on to the newest 7-star raid by you, Whimsicott.
Yep. So Garchomp, the 7-star Terra raid, is going to be available next weekend. And the shiny's underwhelming. So this is probably the coolest Garchomp they ever gave out since he has in Gen 6.
That's probably true. Yeah. That's probably true.
So if you want to beat it, you have to watch out because it does stack up Swords Dances and it gets a little scary, but you can solo it with Heatproof Sinistra. And if you have support, you can, it's funny, but it works. And if you have support, you can bring a Superior online and try to beat it with other people.
Yep. And so this is starting, actually, it's already started. You're listening to this show. It's already happening. So it happened the weekend before you listen to the show, and it's happening the weekend after you listen to the show. So enjoy. So
it will be available again.
Yes. Yes.
I haven't been doing this. Like, there's too many of them.
Yes.
And then we have our obligatory Pokemon Go news segment. There's an event this weekend.
No. It's the we have to introduce this properly only because I'm under threat.
Okay.
This is the Mark Snow 69 Memorial Pokemon Go news segment.
What?
Yeah. So it's an inside joke with me and my friends. But what ended up happening was you can report people for having inappropriate usernames on Pokemon Go. And so my buddy Mark, hi Mark, because I have more friends that aren't named Ryan. And
I don't believe this. We are all Ryan on this blessed day.
And
excuse me, doxing me much? Excuse me?
I'm sorry, Ryan and Ryan. No, they he had this is a ridiculous story. So he was in a raid. He helps people out a lot. Like he just goes and he raids to like help people out because he's a level 50 player on Pokemon Go, very much into Pokemon Go. And his username was MarkSnow69 because he made the account when Game of Thrones was still big. And 69, haha, funny. And so somebody reported him after they did a raid and claimed that his name was inappropriate. And so he got kicked out of his account until he was forced to change the name.
Wow.
And he was very upset about it. And then I lost a bet, and he said that I had to, on the podcast, rename the Pokemon Go news segment to the MarkSnow69 memorial news segment, Pokemon Go news segment. So,
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, RIP to that.
That's the story.
Name.
That's the story.
RIP to a real one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering what the composer of the soundtrack for the X-Files had to do with all this, but now that you've explained it, it made sense. Okay.
Yes.
So the MarkSnow69 memorial segment recites as such. The Terrain Retreat event runs this weekend alongside a Go Fest. It wants you to hatch hags and introduces G-Max Rillaboom to the game.
Wow.
That's it. That's the segment.
That's it. We're done. Yep. There's going to be collection challenges, blah, 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 all that fun stuff that you love in Pokemon Go. All right, Lynian, it's your turn now.
Wow, Destined Rivals releases this week. You'll never be able to find it, but theoretically it happens.
Another set that you can never find in shops.
I am going to attempt it. My local game store does this too.
What's the name of the previous set?
The previous set was Journey Together. Journey Together.
Journey Together releases this week.
I don't even know if it would. The thing is, it's like all of the people who are speculators in the TCG market who know nothing about the TCG keep buying it up. And so there's been a lot of frustration with Journey Together because it wasn't that good of a set. And there aren't that many expensive cards. I think Enzo O'Rourke, if you buy the cheapest printing of it, is $5 or something. And it's just not a good set. And
Thatch,
people bought it in bulk.
I will explain this to you in 2 words because that describe all of the speculators. Crypto bros.
Yes, no, you're correct. You're correct.
That comes with it.
No, you're correct. I agree with you. They are not intelligent. I do in terms of their speculating. They are gambling and then get upset when they end up sitting on 20 ETBs. I just want one, and I'd love to pay MSRP for it because I will not pay anybody who is not a store money for those. Thankfully, I have a local game store though that is releasing the set on Monday when this releases. So probably while you're listening to this, I will be sitting in front of that game store when it releases because they do sell it all in MSRP and they do also a 1 item limit per customer, 1 item limit. So I can't get an ETB and a Elite Trainer box for the uninitiated and not an enter the board effect. And they or a booster box. I get to pick one or the other. I'll obviously choose the booster box, but I do want to be able to pick up both, and I never will. So, but they were actually really good about it because when Journey Together dropped, they had product until 8 o'clock that day that you could come in and pick up because of their 1 item per person policy. So as long as I get there and I'm one of the first 200 people to show up to the store, I'll probably get a booster box. They get pretty good supply.
Good.
The local store I go to is tied into Card Kingdom. So they have warehouses and warehouses of stuff that they get, which has been great for this because it's a combination of having a bunch of stock and also having managers who just do not tolerate that kind of purchasing. There is no limit, but also if you buy more than 2 things, they'll just say no and then ask you to leave.
No, I support this.
Required to, they're like, no, get out of the store. I'm like, okay.
I support this. The way it's getting is just insane, especially for Pokemon, man. I'm really upset, not for myself, but a little bit for kids to not be able to experience it the way we experienced it, right? like I remember being a kid and just being like, oh man, here's a booster pack, and ripping it open and just like thinking the cards were cool. And that experience doesn't exist anymore. Even with like the parents, sometimes I don't know, like I get fed like Pokemon TCG on Reddit a lot, and somebody's just like, my kid just came home with this from training for school, and it's like a $300 card or something. They're like, what should I do? And I'm like, let the kid play with it. I don't know, it's a piece of cardboard. Like, the kid probably traded away something that was worth less in value and scammed another kid accidentally. Like, just let them play with their cardboard and have a good time, you know?
Speaking of things less valuable than cardboard, the TCG live decks are coming out.
Yay!
And they're going to be Ethan and Mewtwo because they know where their bread is buttered, so they were never giving you Cynthia.
Dude, I'm actually super hyped for the Ethan cards. The good news is if you want to play the TCG, it's still just as cheap. Like none of the card prices have gone wild thanks to Pokemon having like of the most rare cards like 4 or 5 different printings. Like I'm sure Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX will have something stupid like 5 printings. I'm sure there's going to be like the base version, there's going to be a full art version, a secret art version, the gold version, and something else. So thankfully, like if you want regular Mewtwo, it's going to cost you like $5 in like a month, and you could just build whatever deck you want.
But that's it for the TCG section.
That is in fact it. And I think that's it for most of our news, except for our Puckle news. And this is an announcement for everybody to listen to. Anybody who's interested, especially if you're interested in our Pokemon, our Puckle Badge Bonanza. Puckle Badge Bonanza, we still have a week left. This is for May. You can get your badge by playing in XY Nuzlocke. I believe if you just get Mega Evolution, that's the silver badge. And the gold badge is if you get to the Elite Four. And then for June, we're doing kind of a catch-up month. So if you've missed anything in the past 5 months, you can actually submit up to 3 previous badges and get those from the past 5 months. You'll also get the June badges. We still have badges for June that you can get. They're a little bit different because what we're going to do is we're going to have a weekly event on the Discord server, TBD. And all you have to do is participate in 2 of the 4. 2 of the 4 events happening. There's also a couple of extra things you can attend as well. One, episode 700 comes out in June, which is super exciting. I mean, I think this is like $6.98. But for the 700th episode of Puckle, we're gonna record it live on, I believe, the Saturday before it comes out, typically, which is, I need to check my calendar now, which would be June 7th. We are going to record a live version of the podcast, so you can watch it on YouTube or Twitch. And if you come to that counts as you can earn part of a Puckle badge for that. And there is also going to be a NAIC watch party in the Discord. If you attend that also counts as well. So you can just watch the show early and live.
Not NAIC.
Yeah, the watch party, not NAIC. You don't have to go to NAIC. It's fine. No, you don't have to go to New Orleans. It's fine. But yeah, it's very exciting. I'm all for this. So with that though, guys, I'm going to kick us on over to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh, hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to our Poke Quiz. Thank you for that introduction, Mark from the Dunsparce Gang. We're going to jump right into it. Remember, as always, though, as it's time to Poke Quiz, that you can always submit your questions at pucklediscord.com to go ahead and get in on the action. There's a lot of people who do it, and we appreciate everybody who submits their questions each week. Our first question is your general trivia question as always. And this week, the first question is going to come from Batista. Who is the only Pokemon to have more than half of their base stat total come from a single stat? Actually, I think this is from P. McGee, but I think I wrote it down wrong.
Happiny is up there. Because I think Chansey and Blissey have high enough special defense where it's not true. Wait, no, Igglybuff is even more lopsided.
Yeah.
The only
because it
Pokemon
doesn't-
to have more than half the base stat total come from a single stat.
Or more than half.
More than oh yeah, no, it's not that lopsided. Right. It's only like I think Jigglypuff is like 100, so it can't be that high.
No,
I
exactly.
need something that has simultaneously a really low base stat total and a decently high stat. What are things that have really low base stat totals? Like what about Wishy-Washy?
No, Wishy-Washy is like balanced, quote unquote.
No, it's not, because its speed's good, which is why you give speed EVs. And then but
yeah, but is it speed more than 110?
No.
So it doesn't count.
I am going to need an answer here, guys.
Okay, so what is Blissey's base stat total?
255, and then what's Blissey's base stat total?
Exactly. Is it more than 500?
I think it's close, if not over.
Because if it's 505, then it's the answer to the question. If it's 510, it's not.
It's got to be over
exactly
510
half.
because it's an evolution from Chansey, which has like 515 or something.
Okay, so it's not the answer.
I need an answer here, guys.
Ninjask, I guess. I can't.
Ninjask? Is that what you're going to go with? The Ninjask?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait, no, I actually got the answer.
What is the answer? Shedinja
has like 90 attack.
Shedinja is incorrect. The answer is Chansey.
Yeah.
Chansey is the answer. Yeah. I mean, I think it has like 9. I think it has like, it's based like 250 HP.
It's 250 instead of 255.
Yeah, it's 250, and I think its next highest stat is like 90 special defense, and then everything else is like 10. Like, yeah.
So, right.
Yeah.
I should have extended the Blissey logic of, if that means, yeah.
You were close.
Yeah.
You guys were close. You danced literally all the way around it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, you're 0 for 1. We got another general trivia question here for you to go. And it comes to you from Boorky on the Discord server. In Pokemon X and Y, I've seen this question before. I'm sure we've asked this question before on the show. In Pokemon X and Y, what is the Mega Evolution Guru's real name?
You have asked this before, and I could not answer.
I definitely have asked this before. I read this question and I'm like, I've asked this before, but let's see if anybody remembers.
You literally asked me the last time, and I could not remember it, and I cannot remember it now.
Well, the good news is I can.
Good.
What's the answer?
Look, all I'm saying is the PTU research gets real weird in this campaign. His name is Gherkin.
His name is Gherkin. It's like a pickle.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right. Well, you're 0 for 1. Your next question is your Pokedex entry. Yeah. So we're gonna
2. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're 1 for 2. This question is from Punch Rockbone. I don't know. These names are getting wilder every week, and I'm here for it. This is from Pokemon Omega Ruby, this entry. Its thick tail packs enormously destructive power. With one swing, it can topple a metal transmission tower. Once this Pokemon goes on a rampage, there is no stopping it. Who's that Pokemon?
Well, I think it's Nidoking.
Are you locking that in?
Or no. Or Breloom, known for its powerful tail.
Yeah, I don't know. Nidoking sounds good to me.
Actually, I think that we've had this one before. I think that what it was Breloom was given as an answer, and then everyone gave Jushiro crap about it for years. I think it's Nidoking.
All right. Well, we're going to give you another entry. You have a chance to change your answer afterwards. If you would like. We're going to lock Nidoking in, though. This next
Sure.
entry is also from Punch Rockbone, and it is from Pokemon Shield.
Okay.
When it goes on a rampage, it's impossible to control, but in the presence of its mate, it is lived with for a long time. It calms down.
There you go, Nidoking. You were right.
Are we locking a Nidoking?
Is this how this question is now formatted?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
We've changed the way it's formatted. All right. The answer is Nidoking. Yes, you're correct.
Okay.
You've been correct the entire time, it turns out, but I can't verify whether or not you've gotten it correct or not. All right. Mostly because I use a slide deck now, and it's going to go to the next entry anyway. All right. Your next question is your multiple answer question. We've been talking a lot about the TCG, so I thought this was appropriate. This is from Gustav. Which five Pokemon it should be have been printed on a card the most times in English, except for Pikachu? Which five Pokemon have been printed on a card the most times in the TCG, I should say, except for Pikachu?
Charizard.
Are you locking that in? You do have to lock them in.
Yes.
That is correct. Charizard is actually number one with 106.
Okay.
106. I hate it. Thanks. I hate it. Right? Like,
I don't actually know. I just want to
You do have 3 strikes, Avi. But
okay.
I
want to say, either Mewtwo or Mew, because there have been so many promo cards with them.
Okay, you want to go which one?
Let's go Mewtwo.
Mewtwo. Okay. We look to the Fuchsia City feud board, I guess, in this case, because we're doing a top 5. This is really interesting, and I might reuse it for a Fuchsia City feud because I know you guys aren't watching this show when you're on it. I really like this question. Mewtwo's on the board at number 4 with 87 appearances.
Okay. Do we want to
3 to
try
go.
Mew as well?
Can I just suggest one thing first?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Eevee.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, sure.
Ooh, good answer. Good answer. You locking that in? Eevee is on the board, tied for second with 96 appearances.
Okay.
96 cards.
There are 70 more Charizard cards than there. Seriously?
No, 10 more Charizard cards.
10. Oh, okay. Okay.
Then
I
Eevee
completely
cards.
remembered.
And this other
different
Pokemon,
number.
and another Pokemon as well, but I cannot confirm or deny what that Pokemon is.
Okay.
But there are 19 more Charizard cards than Mewtwo cards, if that makes you feel better.
Okay.
It doesn't. It hurts me, actually.
So, I don't know. I still want to try Mew. Lynian, what do you think?
Sure. I'm trying to rack my head for things that need to get reprinted a bunch.
Mew is unfortunately not on there. That's your first strike.
Okay.
Unknown.
Unknown is the other number 2 at 96.
Nice.
Because they did print like every letter multiple times.
Letter.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
The one, my favorite unknown card is really cute is the unknown V star and the unknown V, because like when V Pokemon were a thing, because they purposely made sure that unknown V, like the letter V was on the card.
Nice.
So we're looking at what number now?
Number 5.
Oh, that's like the hardest one.
Other than Pikachu, what has been printed a bajillion times?
Like the ones that come to mind are like
less than 87 though.
So the way you said it, other than Pikachu, it made me think that it might be Pikachu related, though. I don't know if I'm picking up stuff that you are not putting down, and I'm imagining it, but
promos help so much, and you don't get a promo Raichu for every promo Pikachu.
Yeah, where there's a Pikachu, there's often, even if not always, a Raichu. So maybe
you know what? I don't have a better one.
Are we putting in
Because
Raichu?
I only have one other idea after this. So
Okay, let's hear it out first.
meow.
Raichu is the number 5 answer at 81.
There you go. I know my
81.
brother.
It is. You did pick up on that. It was really subtle. That one was subtle. Okay.
It was very subtle, but
That
I know
one was
you.
subtle. So it's Charizard, Unknown, Eevee, Mewtwo, and Raichu. They are the top 5 most printed cards that aren't Pikachu in the Pokemon TCG. All right, your last question is your base stat question. As always, that was 3 points. So you guys are sitting at 3 plus 2 plus 1. You're at 6. You're at 6 right now. So you can go for 7.
Good.
And I really like this question. It is from Geodon't. And it says, which fossil Pokemon has the highest individual base stat? Which fossil
I
Pokemon?
immediately want to say Rampardos, but we have a hint that we cannot cash in. So
Yeah, I just want to know. I just want to think if I can get it off the top of my head. I don't think there's anything that beats that beats it. Like Mega Aerodactyl does not have 185 attack or speed.
And Shield like Bastiodon doesn't exactly. So
it splits it over 2.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just dab stunt it and full send on Rampardos, but I will use the hint because we can't get a point out of it. So
okay.
It is a dual type Pokemon.
There you go. Okay. We were wrong.
It's not Rampardos. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. It's not Rampardos.
Okay.
You already did tell us. Rampardos is a monotype.
I know. That's why I did it. It's not Rampardos, guys. It is a rock dual type, so get out of
I mean,
here,
it's
Jenny.
a fossil.
Well, I knew that none of those fossils had anything higher
Jenny.
than what's Rampardos? I thought it was like 160.
It's really high. I don't remember.
Well, we need to
how
figure
high.
out what specific number beats it, because I know Mega Aerodactyl's biggest thing is its speed at 150.
No, I think Rampardos' attack is higher. It might be 145 though. Is there anything else that is crazy? Like the Gen 3 ones don't have any crazy stats.
I will tell you the stat that wins is defense as well.
It's Bastiodon. There's nothing that's higher than that.
Are we going with Bastiodon?
Nothing. Okay, if it's a defense stat, what Pokemon has a higher defense stat than Bastiodon?
I don't know about higher. I know about high, and it's Caracosta. But I don't know that it's higher than Bastiodon.
It's not higher than Rampardos' attack. So if it's a dual type and the stat is defense, it has to be Bastiodon.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we locking in Bastiodon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bastiodon is correct. It has a base 168 defense. And I guess Rampardos is like 165 attack. Or something like that. So it just misses the mark.
Rampardos' was higher because it wasn't split over multiple stats.
And then Mega Aerodactyl is in there with a 150 speed, and then Archeops follows it out with a 140 attack stat.
Okay.
As well. Yeah. So good job, guys. Good job, team. You guys got 7 today. And so that certainly changes up our leaderboard, maybe. I actually don't know if it changes our leaderboard. I'll be honest with you. Leaderboard, because I forgot that like the way our co-hosting schedules typically work is very seasonal. So I realized this, and so it makes the leaderboard look really lopsided for a little bit until November. And so it is going to be it's going to feel lopsided, but it won't be lopsided when we end. So that was 7 points today, I said. It does actually change up the leaderboard. Nobody breaks into the top 5, but they get closer to the top 5 or the top 4. So let me go ahead, and I need to sort it here. In first place, we still have Cloud9 with 51. In second, we have our Sigma with 48. In third, we have Seth Vilo at 46. In fourth, we have Jushiro with 44. In fifth, though, moving up to fifth place this week, we have Whimsicott with 35. In sixth place, we've got Shark Finnegan with 32. Tied for seventh, we've got Sublime and Lynian at 30. And bringing up the rear, we got Bo with 18. With that, though, guys, we are going to go ahead and we're going to kick it on over to our topic. Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is going to be traditions that overstayed their welcome. And I think this is very good because I do think there are bad things. This was Lynian's idea, so I do want to give him full credit. But then I also realized that they're just things that I don't care about in Pokemon anymore that should probably go away.
Yeah.
But I'll let Lynian lead because he actually like has ideas developed, and I am mostly like, yeah, I really just don't like this thing. So I'll let Lynian lead.
To briefly describe, this idea came because I was watching the development deep dive and decant on the Super Mario Mon, where they said that they had initially decided not to do a victory road because that just gets in the way of the really fun battles against the Elite Four. Then they played it and it was super lame because it turns out going straight from the gym into the final fights means that you have no sense of buildup. You get over one hurdle and then you have another one immediately.
Yeah, you don't have the final montage of the movie.
I do remember as like a kid when I first played Pokemon Blue, right? When you get all 8 badges and then there's just that one last challenge. And it's another dungeon, obviously, that you have to crawl through. It's just a really long dungeon crawl, right? That you have to go through. And honestly, you are rewarded too if you just like in the original Red and Blue, you get rewarded for like futzing around in Victory Road a lot because that's where Moltres also is. It's not there in the remakes, but I like it being there in Victory Road at the end. The OG Pokemon was very good about rewarding exploration of the world. With legendary Pokemon like that, because it was before the legendary Pokemon were like parts of the story, or had a story. They just existed, right?
They were bonus bosses.
Yeah, they were bonus.
Yeah.
So it was very fun because like if you explored the Seafoam Islands, which you didn't even ever have to explore in the original Pokemon game, you could just skip it entirely. You got rewarded with Articuno. The same with the power plant. You could skip Zapdos entirely, so
it's not even obvious that that's there. Like,
you
have to
exactly. Which I think is maybe one of the reasons they put Moltres in a slightly more accessible location, so that it would make you think, oh, this is a thing that can happen. Let me see if I missed any other ones.
I don't know. I do like Victory Road though as like a concept. I've thought about this in the past because there's been like some really bad Victory Roads in the past that are just like a couple steps and you're there, and it's not nearly as fun. So I mean, Pokemon themselves have done this.
The worst of it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
But I think that there was merit in the approach of let's look at things that suck and not do them.
Yeah.
I would like to propose one that I think is a bit of a signpost for what I was thinking of. I think we need to be done with rivals.
Rivals? Oh man. Okay. I think we need to be done with like. Okay, I'll let you go, and then I have thoughts.
Yeah. Hear me out here, okay? For the first game, the rival is basically the through line. That is the character you fight the most often, and while Giovanni and Rocket recurs and causes problems, they're not there from the beginning, and frankly don't really motivate the character so much as they just block it, where the game has set up a rival as a character like you want to beat them because they're annoying, you want to shove in their face, whatever, cool, fine. Gen 2 did something interesting with the rival, and they've never had a good idea since.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but I agree so much actually.
It's not that rivals got nice, because I don't think that's actually a problem. It's that they are just kind of recurring bosses.
I feel like they phoned them in. They feel phoned in.
They phoned them in a little bit, but they tried doing more with them lately. Like Gen 7, they did a lot with it. And Gen 8, they tried and it didn't super work. And Gen 9, I liked all of the characters, but none of them served as a full foil, and I think that was to the game's strength. I think
I agree with
replace a dedicated rival character with just more recurring characters that either do or they just need to show up multiple times. They don't need to be like
I
the
think that's all
battling
you.
friend. I think that's inherently too limiting, and they want to do more with it. Arvin and Penny are way more compelling than Nimona.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree.
I agree with that.
And I think one of the reasons that the rival character was essentially needed in the earliest games and is not so much needed now is that now you have so many more ways of interacting with the world of Pokemon in the games than just battling. But that wasn't the case in Gen 1. Like, you meet an NPC, you battle them, or you exchange like 5 lines of text. And there's not a lot more than the characters can do.
Well, I
but
think
now,
if you go through a lot of the rivals, especially the ones where they're just like, how about the other player character that you didn't choose? Like those are super weak. I like May and Brendan are very weak rivals. If you can even call them that, because they don't even take you all the way to the end of the game. It ends up being Wally, who honestly also feels a little bit like in the game itself. Like I love Wally as a concept, but like in the game itself, the way Wally is implemented, it kind of just comes out of nowhere where Wally's like, hey, now I'm the best, like no one ever was. And now I'm now I'm the rival. Look at me. Now I'm the rival.
Good concept, so execution.
Yeah.
Except for that theme song. That theme song's so good.
Yeah.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah.
Unrelated. Nothing to do with the quality of his character.
No, nothing at all.
I
do
just
think
feel like,
rivals
especially as games get more story driven, we have reasons to keep playing that are not just that, and we can have recurring boss characters. The games where where a quote unquote rival character has had less to do tend to be more interesting.
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, yes, you have Ray or don't know what
I don't know the
guy's
other
name is because I've only played the one save. They're there, but they're not. They do not serve a rival function. They're basically just a story check boss. And frankly, having more time with Volo or the other captains might have been more interesting.
I actually agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So yeah, that's my first hot take.
I haven't even hotter one.
Okay.
Oh no.
I want to hear it.
So the premise, they will never, ever get rid of this because A, it's one of the like staples of the games, and B, it fills their pockets with money, but I'm so freaking tired of version exclusives. Like
okay, so like I'm gonna push back on that, but continue.
I will specify. So if you do something like Scarlet and Violet, where the world is different, there is a different story, and so you make the future paradoxes exclusive to Violet, and the past paradoxes exclusive to Scarlet, I'm gonna be like, see, there is a reason for this, and I enjoy that it has a narrative place in the world. But then you have stuff like a random like Route 3 Pokemon that is for some reason not in my game, and I'm like, but why?
Okay, I want to push back a little bit because I think this is a conversation that what I'm about to say, this is a conversation that we've kind of had on the Discord server in the past couple days with other people. I think I'm going to say we, I'll include myself in this. We as Pokemon fans get really caught up in like, honestly, the single player experience of Pokemon. And we want it to be like our full immersion, but I think Pokemon exists outside of the cartridge, is like a way to say it, because it does create a, like, and when a new Pokemon game comes out, there's a zeitgeist that is created. And part of the experience of playing a new Pokemon game, and it was certainly more annoying in the past than it is now. Part of the reason of having the version exclusives is to kind of force that interaction with other people.
I absolutely agree with you, and I am okay with that. But
yes.
as I said, make it interesting. Don't make it random.
What they've done in
I don't know.
Gen 8, 9, whatever, the one we were on, 9.
Yes.
Looking over the version exclusives on Scarlet and Violet, the only version exclusive new Pokemon are the Charcadet Evolution and the Paradoxes.
And the Paldeantoros form.
No, that's not version exclusive. I don't think that's actually a version exclusive.
Those are.
It is.
They are. You're correct. Yeah.
You can still catch a Tauros. You just can't catch both types. Now,
exactly.
That's a good solution.
To me, this is like, if they're going to keep doing it, I'd prefer it this way, where returning things are played off each other. Where you don't feel like you're missing out on one of the new cool toys because you got the wrong version. It's going to be like 1 or 2. I still remember
is already
how bad Gen 8 was about it.
Gen 8 was really bad. I remember picking the wrong version for like Galarian Farfetch, which was one of the Pokemon I was the most hyped for.
And I had to play without my Galarian Ponyta.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think you and I did actually connect. We did the trade.
They also had worst outcomes there too with the fossils, because I wanted Dracozolt, but to do that, you need a fossil from each game. So there's no game I could have picked. That was so bad.
Yeah, that was silly. But make them more reasonable. And I agree with you guys that we are on the way there, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I think Gen 8 handled it fairly okay. I mean, there's a few minor or Gen 9, that's what I mean. Yes, Scarlet and Violet. They did okay. I'm not very upset with the way things shook out in those games. I am, man, side note, I'm very excited to see what actually happens with this improved version on Switch 2 to see if it's actually playable. I really want to know. I did dislike that the DLC had version exclusive though. I dislike that. I will agree with that, because it was just like very frustrating. Like, oh man, I already played this game like a year ago. Like, let me just catch my things.
I think the only version exclusives were the Gouging Fire Reach. No, I guess there was like Yanma things.
Apom, Gligar, Cramorant, and Morpeko. Those were exclusives in Kitakami and the Teal Mask, and then in Indigo Disc, Vulpix and Sandshrew, the Alolan forms, were version exclusives. And then you could only catch like a number of the legendaries from the Snacksworth thing are version exclusives.
Oh, I forgot about those because I never did them because they sucked.
And same with like Fossil, like Cranidos and Rampardos and Shieldon and Bastiodon are also available, but those are also version exclusive. And
I would be less upset about it if you didn't have to rebuy the DLC for each version of the game.
Yes, yes and no. I mean, the DLC in my view is the olive branch to not make me buy an Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon again, and
fair,
I'm
fair.
really okay with that. I'm like, I am really okay with never having to go through an experience of an Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon experience again. Because I think at the end of the day, no, we don't, but we spend about the same amount of money if you were to buy like Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's about the same amount.
And the DLC is about half of a game, so if you buy the DLC twice, you've bought a third version.
Yep. So I don't feel as bad about that.
And you only need to buy the DLC twice if you want to play both versions. So
yep. Yeah, so I'm not as upset about that, but yeah, I don't know. Version exclusives are like that is in fact a hot take. I don't know. I like being forced to trade, because like I remember something like Pokemon Legends Arceus coming out where you can catch everything in a single game, which people are like, this is great, but then there's no reason to interact. Like trade exists in that game for some reason, but there's no reason to do it.
I did trade with my cousin because she was like behind in the game compared to me, and I had like a Pokemon she wanted, and also I gave her a shiny, I think. I can't remember.
That's fair.
But you know.
That's fair.
The thing is, I finished the decks wholly on my own in Legends Arceus, and genuinely, I think I missed something because I was not. That game did not feel like it. It didn't have multiplayer battling, which is fine. I don't actually do that much with friends, but the social aspect felt way more like an RPG I was playing in a Pokemon game where we would trade version exclusives or run around in other people's settings. I just didn't get that option.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just don't think it's as it's not as like as much community as other Pokemon games when you do that. And so I think, like, as bad as it sounds, I think version exclusives are somewhat necessary, because even like we're Pokemon super fans and we'll end up buying both versions eventually anyway. And but not everybody's like that. And even if you are a Pokemon super fan like us and you buy both versions at launch,
not everyone has 2 Switches.
Well, not even just that. Not only do you not have 2 Switches, but you're also not going to be playing both at the same time, like during the first playthrough. And so you're going to have to pair up with somebody, right?
Or go to your bank and play both, but that's just the whole thing.
It's actually really, when you go through bank, actually, you still don't get it logged to your Pokedex if you pull it from bank, unless it's caught in the game and it's traded to you. Which is
but it'll be caught in that generation. So anyway.
it wouldn't log into your, if you pull it from bank, it still doesn't log into your Pokedex.
No, he's saying you pull it from bank after putting it in bank from the other version of the game. That's what Lynian is saying.
I don't think that still counts though.
Well,
why wouldn't it?
Even then, you can hatch it when the same. You probably have to do the same thing.
Maybe you could hatch it or something. Yeah.
I think I would prefer to have no versions, but instead have it be like one game executable file, and then it like randomizes each pair for you.
Man, that's like that's almost what they wanted. Like if you listen to like the interviews for original Pokemon, the original Pokemon games, they wanted to actually make it so instead of having 2 versions, we had, I think at the time, like if you think about you did the math, you would end up with like 64,000 versions of Pokemon.
Depending on the seed.
But depending on the seed, yeah, you just got a seed, and you would just do that. And I worry about that a little bit because of probabilities, and I get upset at the idea of like, man, everybody in my friend group is missing this one Pokemon.
Or
exactly, and how do you even know what you're missing? Like,
so the other way that you could do it that would be pretty simple is just tie it to starter choice.
I would also be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be okay.
So like
my only problem,
Snivy, and that sets X, Y, and Z throughout the game versus you who did that and then do it. And then you can even have it be they're all binary choices, but there's just a number of them that divides out evenly. So
I do think the other way you could do it is I think the way we talked about this when Gen 8 came out, the DLC specifically, where you make choices and that's how you get your version exclusive, right? Like with Urshifu, the difference between the Rapid Strike
and the horses,
and the horses and the Reggies in that game, you just got to choose. And it's very similar to how we chose fossils in Gen 1 and Hitmonchan only. And I think that is the better way to do version exclusives.
I would agree.
Then you get the one you want. Then you always get the one you want. I would agree.
But again, it doesn't print the money, so they will never do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But I think that is the way to do it. Like, I think that is the appropriate way to get everything everybody wants.
I would prefer to have something like that. But again, the money printing thing is a thing. So
that's fair.
Thatch, do you have one specifically that you want to go into?
Not really. Honestly, there's just a lot of things that I just don't like is like tropes in Pokemon games anymore. And there are tropes I'd certainly like to see return that we got rid of. Like I miss old gyms. I don't care for new gyms. Like honestly, since probably Gen 6, like I don't think we've had good gyms. And even Gen 6, I think that's somewhat debatable, but I just miss like good puzzles. We had better puzzles and we had puzzles in Gen 8. I'll say we had puzzles, and some of the puzzles were more fun in Gen 9. And like I feel like they almost scratched my itch of like Pokemon gyms.
I like most of the ones in 9. There were a few that were bad.
9 was okay.
Like the olive one.
I like the olive one only because I was a big fan of the idea of like the challenges feeling more real. Like, I don't know, anything you can get me closer to an anime experience, right? Like the OG anime where I can go, oh man, this is something like they would have made Ash do in the anime before a gym battle, right?
Sure.
And that's me. That's a me problem. Okay, that's not what I think everybody wants.
Yeah,
or make the franchise good.
Love, but I think most of them were pretty good.
I just miss gym badges. I think that's my main gripe. I miss gym badges. They gave me stamps.
All right.
Yeah.
They gave me stamps.
Right,
Stop trying to reinvent the wheel on gyms, okay?
I've got another option here that we can debate.
Okay.
I think IVs are bad, actually.
Okay, in what way? Explain, elaborate.
Okay, so the point of IVs is to gently reconfigure basic Pokemon so that no two are exactly the same, right? For this purpose, they are functionally irrelevant. I guess the best way to put it is most people that they want to invisibly nudge to use a Pokemon aren't going to use 4 Shroomish to figure out which one does the best. The players that are going to look at all the stats are just going to pick the biggest number. And it's not really adding useful variability, given that Pokemon's, you could like the borders on what is useful and what is not are so broad, especially with the games being as easy as they are. You don't have to. And it's busy work when you do. And frankly, if you didn't need to worry about IVs, competitive breeding would be so much faster that you wouldn't like the whole generating thing. A lot of that goes away, actually.
I've got like 2 comments for this. Because I don't know that I like necessarily entirely disagree, but that's why I say comments and not pushbacks. One thing I really like, I am one of those people that pay attention to IVs, but one of the things I like as a person playing through the game, and maybe this is just more that I like knowing that it exists rather than the fact that it exists. But I like IVs in that, and maybe nature's kind of replaced this flavor to me, but I really like them for flavor in the Pokemon world. Like each Pokemon is different, right? And this is how they represent that difference. And maybe I could be okay with that nature's.
Yeah, like don't get rid of natures, and the fact that you can change them to the full granularity is fine. You don't know. I guarantee you do not notice your Pokemon's IV. The amount that it reconfigures the stat is enough that it matters in competitive, and it is completely undetectable in normal play unless you have a calculator and you're like doing speed run threshold.
In Nuzlocke, I find it matters a little bit as well. But that's not official
level cap stuff.
Yes, if you're playing cap, that it's really where it matters. But which a lot of people do, because I think if you do it without cap, it's a little bit easier, a little bit more casual. I do those particularly on stream on purpose, because I just want a casual experience. But the other argument I'd make as a competitive player is that speed IVs do matter in a lot of instances, even defense IVs as well. I think of 2 instances. One is very familiar to all of us, and that's like Trick Room modes for a lot of teams. Like there's some Pokemon that are both good in Trick Room and outside of Trick Room, and you want a different speed IV for both, because if you only had one, it wouldn't be optimal in both.
It would be optimal in both because there wouldn't be another option.
Well, it probably wouldn't be as optimal as another Pokemon or something. Who was just slower. And then the other answer I bring up is Stakataka.
I knew
I bring up Stakataka.
This is the one thing
Ultra
that's
Beast. And other Ultra Beasts where you fudge with the IVs, and you can get better Beast Boost alternatives based on that. Now, a lot of them were just based on, instead of IVs, they were based mostly on just the EV spreads. But which I think are more impactful than IVs by a significant margin. But
Stack Attack is about the only time that I've ever needed an IV that wasn't 0 or 31.
it is. It is
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with that.
And given how many other numbers exist that don't matter, and
Yes.
given how much time it adds to that for such a only one Pokemon has ever made a meaningful use out of something else other than Hidden Power, I guess.
Hidden Power this is definitely more of a vestige from Hidden Power for sure.
I just don't think they accomplished the game designer's intent, because the game design intent is to make Pokemon feel unique, but these numbers matter so little that casual players don't notice them, but matter enough where competitive players spend hundreds of hours to perfect them. That is not a good system. That is an absolute failure.
I don't know that I agree with that statement. Because I think it's a success because I think Pokemon can be enjoyed in so many different ways that you can go in a mode that doesn't care about IVs, which is fine. And if competitive players want to go do that and spend the time to breed, which most of them don't anyway, but that's a different point. I think that's fine. Like, I think that's a perfectly reasonable way to play a game. And I think a lot of people, like, they're not me or a lot of us, enjoy doing that kind of thing. Like, there are people who enjoy Masuda methods.
Yeah, I think at this point they have made them irrelevant enough that, like, at this point I would not really breed for a competitive Pokemon. I would just get bottle caps.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's also true. They also give most legendaries like 3 of these perfect ones anyway, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which actually is a detriment if you want to trick room one. You have a 50% chance of just not even being able to roll it.
What they should do, in my honest opinion,
the rusted bottle cap.
Yeah, we need a rusty bottle cap. I don't know how we've gone like 20, like not 20, but it's been over 10 years that we've asked for this and it just hasn't happened. Like, it's a very easy solution to this problem.
Yeah.
All right, that is my hot take there.
Oh, they used IVs to determine the unknown letters in Gold and Silver. Sorry, I was like
a lot of stuff. They use them for shininess. They use them
Gen
for
2. Yeah.
Well, no. IVs have not been tied to shininess since Gen 2.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about Gen 2.
I said unknown's letter was determined by IVs in Gen 2.
Yeah, and shininess and stuff like that.
Smeargle,
which was why
Smeargle's pattern as well.
Yeah, you couldn't have a shiny of a certain gender of certain species of Pokemon when the ratio wasn't like 50 to 50 in the gender, because it just didn't work that way. It was an entire mess of a thing.
I do also really like how IVs have been implemented in Pokemon Go. I don't like a lot of things about Pokemon Go, but I actually really like that. As a reason to like catch more Pokemon. Also, but that does come with the caveat of, unlike competitive VGC or OU or something, Pokemon Go doesn't require you to have like the best stats all of the time. Like, the people who win the competitions will have Pokemon with like imperfect IVs.
Oftentimes, because the fact
right?
that imperfect IVs, they can go into other tiers.
Yeah, well, not even that. It's because I believe competitive Pokemon Go, like if you go to regionals and stuff, is all Great Ball, if I'm not mistaken. And so a lot of people just play for that. But it just turns out that sometimes it's just hard to get Pokemon with those IVs. So like they get as good as they can. And you're not gonna get like a hundo a lot of the time. So you use what you got. Let's see. Shark has more opinions on that than I do, but he also plays more Pokemon Go than I do.
I think of like the Gritstones from Arceus, and I'm like, this was probably just better. For the casual.
Gritstones were much easier to understand for me. I almost believe Gritstones are a good in between.
I hated those.
EVs, but yeah.
Why did you hate those?
I think, like, it's hard to elaborate, but I think it was like, okay, you're making me learn. a different system that is
Okay.
kind of like IVs and EVs, but not quite, to play with a battle system that is slightly different from the one I know. So it's different, but not quite. And then I'm gonna have to like do this entire thing, and then it's like, and I only use it for in-game battles. That is a lot of mental effort for something that once I have played through the games once, I will never need again.
I think I'm not going to be mean. I don't intend this to be mean, but like Legends Arceus wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't meant for the traditional Pokemon fan, because a traditional Pokemon fan could absolutely enjoy Legends Arceus. But my thought process for that is more that I believe that Legends Arceus is just not the same as a traditional Pokemon game, right? And
that's perfectly fine.
I think it's just like, I think we're gonna get to the point eventually especially with these Legends games being experimental different things, that we're gonna get to the point where there's gonna be a Legends game that Pokemon fans don't like, and I think that's fine. The developers need to like stretch their legs, and Pokemon needs to learn new things, because I think every time they do something a little bit different, the main games benefit from it.
But see, my problem wasn't that it was different, because the crafting system I didn't mind, because I kept catching Pokemon after finishing the game, because I was hunting for shinies. And so I kept using the crafting system. The grid system, I did not keep using. I don't think I ever used it, actually.
I used it
and
a lot,
I was fine
to just amp things up. But I think the grid system is a nice in between. Like I'm not saying you do it exactly, but I think it's like the start of the nice in between. But yeah. Is there any other things that you guys think
I have a very long list?
A very long list. Well, we're not getting through all of them, but we could rapid fire. Let's do one more, and then we can rapid fire.
By the end of it, I was seeing through space and going, you know what we don't need? We don't need regional rodents. And I went, okay, maybe I'm cooking a little too much.
Okay, no, I agree with that though. I don't think regional rodents are necessary anymore. And like we've even expanded the regional rodent thing a little bit in the past 2 gens.
We got
to
pig,
random round normal type, like
well,
you know what they have been better at lately is having fewer and fewer Pokemon that have literally no reason to exist, because we have had a lot of those. And
filler
now
Pokemon?
almost every Pokemon is either has a competitive niche or has a gimmick that is somewhat fun or peculiar, or has some unique lore that makes it interesting, or yada yada yada.
Or a weird evolution, or
weird evolution,
or a new move.
Exactly.
I do
new ability, new something. But there are still a few that are like, why does this exist? And I think
it's a quota.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think if we keep moving away from having Pokemon that are just there to fill the decks, hello Gen 5, then the games will keep improving.
Because you have filler mons. It's called every other game's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like seriously. Do you need just like a moderately bulky water type with rounded stats the player can get at this point? Give them Psyduck. Do you need the just
game.
like a normal type Pokemon that can take a bunch of hits
Psyduck.
and doesn't need to do a lot? Put Miltank in the game. Like, they've built a lot of these general use mons before. They can build a lot of weird niches that fill cool gameplay, and then just use what already exists to fill a lot of these rounded out Pokemon.
That's fair.
That's fine. That's cool.
I do miss it's not that I miss Love Disc. Like things like Love Disc can just go away. But I do, and this is maybe it's not so much a tradition that I'd like to see go away. I do miss when, and I've said this a lot, on the show, and people are gonna. It feels like a real boomer comment, like a Pokemon boomer comment. But like, I miss when Pokemon were just like monsters. Like
I don't.
I miss like Nidoking stuff. We haven't seen like a Nidoking or an Aggron type thing in forever.
I mean, we have though.
Which one's
this gen?
Which gen? Which Pokemon? That's not a Paradox.
I'm aware. I'm just got to get the list open.
Like,
if we want just
monster.
Garganacl. I mean, he's salt, but he's just a salt monster.
Okay, I accept Garganacl. I'll accept it. I just feel I don't like the salt, but I'm salty about it. Ha. But I'm just I will concede Garganacl. In Gen 8, what was there? I mean, Stonejourner doesn't exist. Stonejourner doesn't count.
To a lesser extent, you have like it has the Spinosaurus sail, but you also have the evolution there of Baxcalibur.
But that's just like we had to put in a dragon type though.
But if we go back to Gen 8,
yeah,
what is Duraludon? It's kind of just a building ish. It's just kind of a
I don't count
metal
that.
dragon.
You know what Pokemon really felt like a Pokemon in Gen 9?
Which one?
Glimora.
That was a good one. I did like Glimora. Glimmet and Glimora are very good Pokemon.
Yes.
Just kind of powerful rocks. Moving on. Next question.
Yeah, give us the next one, Lynian. What's your next thing?
The only thing I feel like would be worth swinging into at this point would be we really need to stop referencing Stand By Me at this point. That movie is like 50 years old and no one has seen it.
No one has seen it. No, the 70s were 30 years ago.
Stand By Me reference.
The 70s were 30 years ago, okay?
I'm from the 80s and I haven't seen it. So...
The 70s were 30 years ago.
I'm going to Google this. When did Stand By Me? It was 1986.
That was in the 80s. That was in the 80s.
We're coming up on the 40th anniversary of that
it's
movie.
Impossible. That's impossible because the 70s were 30 years ago. Okay?
Yes. Time stopped in 2001.
Yeah. Time stopped a very long time ago.
Time stopped in 2020.
So time actually stops the year you graduate high school, and then you stop being able to keep track of time.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
So for me, it ended in 2001.
I just got some new students at work, and one of them hurt my soul because she told me that she was born in 2005, and I didn't think people could be born then. And had a conversation with me. Like it hurt. I was like 2005. I started high school in 2005.
I was done with high school and I had been done for a while in 2005.
I started high school in 2005 and you just came into existence. Interesting thought. Well, yeah. All right. Well, if there are some things you think Pokemon shouldn't do anymore, let us know in the mailbag this week at puclpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear it. And with that, we are going to go ahead and we're going to kick it on over to our PokeOpinion. We will catch you guys on the flip-flop. Welcome to our PokeOpinion. Our PokeOpinion this week is going to be from Real Eevee on the Discord server. If you have PokeOpinions that you think we should ask, or they want us to try to answer, you can put them in our Discord server. We have an entire submission area for that, just like trivia. And the Real Eevee has a good one this week, I think. What Pokemon has the wrong typing, in your opinion? I think my answer is Whimsicott. Okay,
I know.
I'm from a different. My answer. It's a flying type.
Okay,
Sorry.
I it's gonna take me a while to stop laughing. So there are a few that I can think of.
Okay.
And one of that, like the main one that we have been like harping on for years and years and years and years is Lugia. Why is it not a water type?
Oh, that one. Okay, I'm not upset with this. For so many reasons though.
Okay.
Why? So, well, one, okay, in interviews about the creation of Lugia, because Lugia was invented for a movie and a movie alone, not for a game.
Okay.
In conversations when they were typing Lugia, they did discuss potentially giving it a third type and making it water psychic flying. The reason it was given psychic typing was because in Generation 2 and Generation 1, one of the most powerful types in the game at the time was psychic. They wanted Lugia to feel powerful.
Okay, that's fair. I understand.
That's the reason they did it. That's the reason they did it, and I'm okay with it. It gets water type moves, and it's a good Pokemon. Done. But yeah, not to like rain on your parade. I didn't mean that's not my intention. I mean, but like, I'm really okay with that.
Thank you for telling me that behind the scenes.
Wrong for going for the powerful type.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that they just should have gone. No, it should still be water type.
I would have respected either decision. I would have respected either decision. It's just because, like, I think it would have been. I think the most boring part about Gen 2 isn't even. This isn't a Pokemon I think should be a different type, but a Pokemon they should have designed to be a different type. And that's Ho-Oh on the other side, because we had just gotten. In Gen 1, we had like the legendary birds, right? We had Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos. And then they're just like, okay, but the box legends for the next game are also going to be legendary birds. And then we get psychic flying Lugia, which is different. That's cool. Even water flying would have been cool. That's different than what we already had. And then they're just like, oh, but what if we just had another fire flying type? And it was Ho-Oh.
Yeah, I guess they had just leaned too much into like the Phoenix lore and the whatever equivalent like, in Asian cultures is lore.
I mean, I have gone to the temple in Kyoto where like it's there and it is like a Phoenix chicken thing on the top, but
okay.
And like so like it makes sense. But I don't know, I would really like to have seen like a different typing. Like I think it would have been more interesting instead of having two fire flying birds in two generations like that, even though Ho-Oh is definitely better than Moltres. I think it would have been more interesting to have gotten another type. Like it would have been really cool if we got like the psychic flying Lugia to be like, here is the here's like a dark flying bird that counteracts it, right?
So the thing is, I was thinking if maybe one of the reasons they decided ultimately not to make Lugia a water type would be that one of the legendaries would be super effective over the other. But then you look at the generation after that and it does exactly that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense like flavor wise, but at the same time,
Speaking of that, this is not so much I think it should have been a different type, but I do think it should have been a different type in the sense that I was convinced it was a different type for like a bajillion years. So when Primal Groudon came out and it was fire ground, I was like, yes, that is the type that Groudon is. I mean, it's not my fault. Like Team Magma was themed around fire, and
no, they were themed around ground.
Camerupt is fire ground, if you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know they
don't use charcoal as the thing. Whims
they're dressed in red, and Magma is hot, and so
Earthbenders can move lava. Okay. In Avatar: The Last
Airbender.
The only Pokemon that I think is like the wrong type that bothers me is Shelmet.
Ooh, do you think that should also be Steel?
Yeah, because it like the whole thing is that they trade armor, but then why does one gain steel that the other never had?
I know.
That's fair. I like
agree with
that. I like
that's
that.
That's a very fair point, actually.
It just bugs me.
But
oh, that wasn't a pun.
I know, but it was an unintentional pun. Pun unintended, but it was very funny.
Yeah, I mean,
it should bug you.
There aren't too many that bother me, like Drapion, fine, whatever.
I'm bummed by Drapion more than like I think it should be a different type. It's more like I understand why you did it. I don't like it.
I'm bummed by Masquerain. Like it took us like 4 more generations to get our Aquanid.
I
like,
know.
What?
Isn't that such a bummer?
I'll say Glycopod's typing is a little disappointing, if only because it's like, oh, you're the same generation as another water bug.
I hate when that happens. Like I think that was my biggest gripe in terms of just like feel for Pokemon Legends Arceus.
You said this, and every time I go, I'm like, yeah, but those weren't new Pokemon.
They
share with existing Pokemon, but those
I
were not
agree
like...
with you. I agree with you. I just wish they were put into a game where there weren't already a bunch of them there. You know, like I think Sneasler's cool. I think it's a cool Pokemon, and I think in Gen 9
I think it's cooler than Toxicroak. I don't know.
I'm not gonna disagree with you. I think Sneasel and like Hisuian Sneasel and Sneasler are very cool Pokemon. I just hate that we've already got Poison Fighting over there in the corner. I hate that Hisuian Quillfish is the same type as Drapion and Stunky and Skuntank. I really dislike that. I don't know. I wish when they were like, oh man, let's make some new typings. Because honestly, Hisuian Quillfish isn't exciting. Like, is anybody really that excited about Hisuian Quillfish being like dark poison? I don't think so. I wish when they were doing it, they would have just like, I don't know, thought a little bit harder. And just been like, oh, maybe instead of dark poison, we can make it something interesting. You know, psychic poison would be cool. We haven't had a lot of those. It's like Monkey Dory.
Yeah, and the Galarian slow guys.
Yeah, and the Galarian boys. Like that would have been interesting. And then I probably would have still complained because we would have just had the Galarian slow guys. And so why did we do it again? Because Thatch is a crotchety old man who can't be happy. It's a very minor gripe. I still enjoy the games. I still enjoyed them. But yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you guys have any other answers? If not, we're just gonna we'll call it a segment and we'll make everybody else tell us what they think should.
I think that's about it.
Okay, everybody else, if you're upset by my answers or anybody else's answers here, let us know in the mailbag. Who do we forget? Who should have a different type? With that, we are going to kick it on over to our mailbag. Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll read your email on the show, maybe. We typically have a prompt. Last week, we asked you guys what NPCs you would love to see show up in Pokemon Legends ZA if it is a World Championship tournament. So I'm very excited to see what you guys mention. And we've got a lot of things there. But a few things that I would like to bring up first and foremost. I'm not going to be able to pull it up on screen because I forgot to do that part while we're doing other things. But we do have a YouTube comment of the week. Last week. Yay. And this one is from Zios974 over on the YouTube channel. We talked last week, our PokeOpinion was what is the best 3-stage bug type line? And I'm sure everybody has their opinions. And I think we said Butterfree to sound like boomers. Vikavolt was also brought up in the conversation very heavily.
Those are the first two that come to mind. Yeah.
It turns out there are not that many 3-stage bug lines.
No.
So the selection was very limited. And so somebody goes, Vivillon is Zio says, Vivillon is better than Butterfree in every single way. Take nostalgia out. Okay.
No, because without it, here's the thing. Even without nostalgia, it's still wrong.
I think Butterfree is cooler than Vivillon.
On my gym teams, Vivillon would not have worked for what I used it for.
Vivillon is, I don't think its move pool is that exciting. Like if I remember correctly, like
it certainly doesn't have compound eyes.
No, it does not.
Compound ice sleep powder. Plus max airstream.
Vivillon is like it's just another bug flying type. It gets shield. It does get compound eyes. Actually.
No.
As a concept,
did we learn something new today? Maybe.
As a concept, I love it. Like with all the variations.
Yeah. No, I love it as a collector.
Competitively.
No. And then it doesn't learn Psybeam until level 17 currently. In Generation 6, was that still the case? Yes, it was. It did not learn Psybeam until 17. So, like, not nearly as good as Butterfree with Confusion at 12. Okay. It's just not as good. Sorry. Butterfree wins. Hands down. All right. I digress, though. I digress. We're going to move on to our mailbag. Our first email is going to be from Cloud Bunny, and I believe you've got this one, Lynian.
You don't want us to be sponsored anymore?
Oh, yeah, shoot. This segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves?
Sorry.
Somebody did.
We need to keep the lights on, Thatch.
Sorry, yeah. Somebody.
I thought that contract fell through. I'm so relieved.
There were two things that happened this week in terms of emails that I thought were very funny. One, somebody said that they don't have a Discord account, but they're just going to make themselves their own custom Green Tauros badge. I'm going to let everybody know now. Don't do that. Just DM me, email me or something. I would love to get rid of some pins in my closet. Okay. These exist. These exist and they're in my closet and I don't want them in my closet. And I will send you that and many more things. And second, somebody did the Fairly Odd Parents meme in an email this week, and I thought it was very cute. I don't know if we're reading their email. He's just like, this is where I'd put my Green Tauros badge if I had one.
If I had one.
So Cloud Bunny is one who's making the badge, but
yes. Oh, that was it. Okay. I knew so. I read these emails.
Yeah. All right. Hello, Puckle fellows. Cloud Bunny yet again, here to look fashionable in a tinfoil hat. Sorry, I didn't pre-read that. That's a great opening. Listening to the last episode, writing this on the Monday it came out, and constantly thinking about one technically champion Volo. But seeing as Volo is probably long gone, it might be cool if someone went down the same rabbit hole as Volo, but instead of Arceus, it was Volo instead. Oh no, a Volo fanboy.
What? I'm lost.
A Volo
what?
descendant. A Volo descendant that's not Cynthia.
Yeah, so because you can't do Volo for a recurring battle character because he's dead for 100 years.
Yeah.
You do someone who's obsessed with Volo, like Volo was obsessed with Arceus.
Oh.
Basically, wants to fight one of those really annoying Roman history fans that you
Yeah.
met.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Men think about the Roman Empire a lot, okay?
Anytime I have cold juice, I just think of all of the people who used to have to like work hard for that. I'm sorry.
I did think the other day, this is such a random thought that was ADHD and not Pokemon related at all. I did think the other day about how sometimes people would just buy pineapples to show they had money and never eat them.
Yeah. They would have guards. You could rent them. You could rent
pineapples
with the guard.
Yeah. I digress. Back to this email.
Entirely true. Look it up. But to continue.
It is very true. It is very true.
I believe you. It was just very random.
I also didn't believe my friend about it's where hangover comes from. People used to in England when they would partake in alcohol too much and not have a place to sleep, they would pay somebody a penny to go sleep on a rope, like leaning up against a rope, which is why they would call it a hangover, because you would hang over the rope. And this is, I'm like, there's no way that's real. And we looked it up and it's absolutely real. 100%. People would pay to sleep leaning up against a rope.
We're on so many diatribes I won't explain further. All I will say is this. The original English word for bear has been lost because people were too scared of them.
I've heard that one. That one's really cool.
All right,
back
so
to this email.
back to what Cloud Bunny was talking about.
Sorry, Cloud Bunny.
Are you kidding? Cloud Bunny's over the moon. That's where clouds go.
No, the bunny is in the moon.
Right. Well, taking off my tinfoil hat, I think there's someone more reasonable might be Red. I know Red got mentioned in the show, but I think it'd be cool if Red got a Mega Snorlax as his ace. Also, this is just me wanting a Mega Snorlax.
Fair.
Okay, also wanted to talk about my favorite 3-stage bug type line, the Grubbin line.
Correct
answer. I have
answer.
a fondness for Vikavolt because when I was younger and didn't understand the TCG, a friend gave me a Vikavolt GX deck.
That was a fun deck. That was a fun deck, actually.
Yep.
See, my reaction was not so much to the deck, which I am not familiar with, but I had kind of the same reaction in my head when he said younger, as like it sounded like he was a kid, and yeah,
I was also younger when that deck was out. So
I mean, technically we all were, but the way he said it,
the next line does not clear it up. I didn't play with it at first, seeing as I didn't have the bandwidth to learn how to play. That could be I was 5, or that could be I was busy.
Yeah, it's either
right?
5 or in college. Yeah.
But I still own it and like to look at the card. Seriously, it's mesmerizing. The only bad thing about the line is that it has a location evolution. Thankfully, they changed that to a stone evo. The final thing I wanted to mention is that I listened to the podcast on Amazon Music. It was nice getting an impromptu shout out, not necessarily on Alexa, but I do use Amazon Music nonetheless.
I love that this resonated with a lot of people last week. Like the
we got
number
multiple
of people
emails about this.
Yes, I got multiple emails about people listening on Alexa, and I think it's funny.
Thatch and Co., I want to thank you for all the amazing work you do to run such a cool podcast. Yours truly, Cloud Bunny.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Cloud Bunny. All right. Our next email is going to come from D. Gersby. D. Gersby. I said this out loud and did not say when I was reading it, and it makes sense.
That's just I'll read the one from D. Gersby. And I said, oh, Diggersby. And he paused and went, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's get into that one. This one is from our friend D. Gersby. Howdy do, Puckle Roonies. D. Gersby here. I always love listening to the podcast every week. I've been a fan of you guys since 2020. That's a long time. And I've never missed an episode since. You guys make my long drive to work so much more fun and Pokemon filled. Keep up the great content, and you guys have an awesome week. You too, man.
Thank you. You too.
D. Gersby, if that is your real name.
Well, if it was, it would be amazing.
If it was, can you please change your name to that? So anyway, do that and then also listen to us on Amazon Alexa.
If you can't change your name to D. Gersby, can you at least make it Ryan so you can line up with all of us?
No. D is short for Ryan. It's just the D is silent.
Of course.
The D is silent. Yeah. All right. So anyway, my pick for a potential character to be included in the ladder for PLZA is, wait for it, Elaine. But hold on, you guys are thinking, Elaine starts with an A, and AZ will most likely be the one we'll be facing at the top of the game. I also said, though, that I don't believe that the first letter of the name is going to match up to the rank of the person, but I think that's farce.
I also don't think that AZ will be the last boss.
No, I don't
even
either.
A little bit.
No.
Okay, but hold on. Okay, we've read that part, and because of that, I have devised a workaround to that that may be a possibility. What if in a post game, a system similar to Sun and Moon's title defense mechanic is done in this situation? Just imagine a mysterious challenger in black and blue suddenly walks up to you with a Charizard alongside him and challenges you to a battle saying, "My name's Elaine, and my goal is to become the strongest Pokemon trainer, and to do that, I must defeat you. Battle me." I would be upset because Leon's probably also in this game. And just saying. It would be a cool callback to Steven Stone referencing the Mega Evolution special in Oraz, and it'll also finally canonize Elaine in the games. I think it's slightly problematic, though, because they probably want to distance themselves from Ash, and this is somebody Ash battled, but I digress. And the title defense mechanic is also great for long-term playability of Pokemon Legends ZA by constantly bringing in new challengers every day. And yeah, that's my take. Thanks for listening to my thoughts. It's always fun to have random couch conversations like this. It's my favorite part of the podcast. So keep up the good work, and I can't wait to listen to next week's episode. All the love, support, and carrots, Deegersby.
Carrots, I love that. Wait, I now I need to find like a rabbit reference in this third email, or my life will be ruined. Oh no.
All right, our last email this week is for you to read, Whimsicott, and I forget who it's from, but
it's from Lex Luke.
That Lex Luke, that's it.
Lex Luke says, "Hello, Puckle. I have been listening to the show for 2 years now, and this is my first time writing in. Well, welcome to the show."
Welcome.
First, I wanted to say that your show has been my absolute favorite podcast to listen to, no matter what I'm up to. Oh, thank you.
Everybody's just like, what if we stroke Thatch's ego just like a little bit this week? And maybe I'll be right on the show then. That is not why, by the way.
No. No.
But I do appreciate that people enjoy it. So
yeah. I also wanted to express my excitement for Pokemon Legends ZA. Pokemon Legends Arceus is my second favorite Pokemon game of all time. Sword and Shield are my favorite. Don't judge. We will not judge.
I am
so
judging,
obviously,
but it's fine.
I am not doing it out loud. It specifically asked us not to. So obviously, I am hyped for ZA, even though the gameplay seems very different. One thing I wanted to share really quick was my own personal theory about what Pokemon will be getting a Mega Evolution in this game. I think Roserade will get a Mega Evolution, seeing as Badu has been prominently featured in the trailers, and Roserade has also been seen.
I thought it was just to scare the TCG players.
This, coupled with the fact that there is a statue of Roselia in Santalon City, makes me think it will get a Mega. But now, on to the meat and potatoes of this email. I should mention here that Luke sent Mega Roserade concept art.
Yes.
That is really, really good.
I don't know if he made it himself.
I don't know, but it's great. I think the ZA Royale would be a great way to reintroduce and rebattle the gym leaders and Elite Four from Pokemon X and Y, with them potentially being ranked.
Good answer.
With them potentially being ranked in the top tiers and fought as mini bosses. Imagine battling a grown-up Clement or a super old Ramos who's somehow still alive. I mean, AZ is much older than Ramos and he's still alive. So
you think Ramos? Whoa. Who's this Ramos guy that they think might be dead?
I don't know. It was like Gym Leader, then a random name.
Random name.
I don't know. Must be a friend of his. Anyway, I also think we could see the rivals from X and Y as young adults pursuing their interests. Serena is a star in Pokemon contests, Tierno has become a world-famous dancer, and maybe Shauna ended up married to Kalim/the male protagonist. Why not the female one, though? I mean, she flirted just as much with me as... Well, anyway, Trevor can get lost. I also forgot he existed while writing this. I think Trevor should be the new Pokemon professor, but anyway.
I think so too. That would be good full circle.
Depending on how much time has gone by.
We do need to find out
if he's young.
We do need to find out if he has a last name that is a tree. I think that's a requirement. I don't know. I mean,
Trevor.
I don't know if it's like, I wonder if when you become a Pokemon professor, instead of that being your last name, if you pick it like the Pope. Like you get your Pokemon PhD and then you go,
but you see,
I will be, I don't know. What's a tree that I almost said birch and I'm like, nope, that's already been done.
Yeah.
I'm Professor Maple.
Yeah. They did break the tree tradition with Gen 9. I was kind of sad about that.
They did.
Anyway, As we also I really hope we can find out, speaking of marriages, if Sycamore managed to beg the protagonist's mom. But anyway, as of characters from outside of Kalos, I think it would be cool if we saw Fantina or maybe someone related to her, seeing as her character takes on heavy French influence. Oh, that's true. I also read somewhere that Elessa has some French inspirations, so she could be an interesting character to return in Legends ZA. In addition, these trainers fit with some of the leaked Mega Evolutions. Oh, there have been leaks, right? I haven't seen them, obviously. I stay away from those.
There's actually a whole bonus episode on Patreon of me and Shark. It's a bonus topic on Patreon at the $10 tier of he and I discussing all of the leaked megas. So
which
that,
obviously I'm going to avoid.
Podcast.
I am going to avoid it like the plague, but it's a great idea. The last thing I will try to touch up on is Team Flare. I think they will be in the game and Lysander will be present in some way, but I'm not entirely sure what their role in the story will be. Sorry for the long email. Keep up the great episodes. Sincerely, Lex. Look, no, this is a good email length.
That's a solid length.
On the upper edge of what is okay. I think it's perfectly fine.
Yes.
You brought up a lot of interesting concepts too. So yeah, this is good.
So we're giving the Green Taurus badge to Diggersby though, right?
I think we have to.
That name is too funny.
I think just based on the name and nothing else. The carrots pun was good. The carrots pun at the end was good.
Yeah.
So Diggersby, you get the Green Taurus badge. Go over to the Discord server and you can shout hooves over there, or you can email me, and maybe if you live in the United States, we can work something out. And with that, though, guys, we are going to go ahead and end the show. Thank you for listening. If you want to email us next week, remember, you can always let us know what you think of our topic and send that in, which was traditions we think should maybe go away in Pokemon games. Let us know at puclpodcast@gmail.com. Until then, you can hang out with us at the Discord server at pucldiscord.com. You can follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, what the other ones, Blue Sky, Facebook. There we go. There were 4 that I always do. And then, of course, you can always follow us over at YouTube at youtube.com/PucklePodcast, where you can watch the video version of the podcast. Additionally, you can also check us out over Twitch at twitch.tv/ThePucklePodcast. We stream there and YouTube every week when I'm not traveling. And you can, of course, also follow us over on over on Patreon. Like I just said, we have an exclusive episode out. I'm trying to make at least one monthly exclusive episode for Patreon over there at patreon.com/PucklePodcast. And with that, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I have been the fluffiest Whimsicott.
I've been Lynian.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.